Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Thursday live stream. So just like the title and thumbnail suggests, we're going to take a look at just some of the billionaires and millionaires that just haven't gotten into Bitcoin and what that means for us. And like we've been talking about for quite some time, we've actually front ran a whole host of people. But you're probably thinking to yourself, but Rob, as we take a look at what's going to be talked about today, what about Bitcoin and the altcoins and everything else? Because it seems like 2 trillion market cap, or now I guess it would be 3.4 for the total market cap. That seems like a lot. So what are you talking about front running people? Because it looks like everybody who's in here is already here. No, that's incorrect. And what this is, we've been talking about this in quite some time. We should use this all the time. This is from Visual Capitalist, and it takes a look at the different assets, how much those assets are worth, and how much is sloshing around. As you can see, this little square here in the very upper corner, one square equals $100 billion worth of in the US dollars. And this was actually created in 2022. That's why you can see that Sam Bankman-Fried, his valuation, I guess, was what used to be 26 billion. Then it went to 1 billion. And now he's in jail. And I don't know how much that he's, for a pack of cigarettes. But anyhow, this is how much things are actually worth. And if we come down here and we take a look at gold, again, this is 2022. Gold now is worth around 20 trillion, 18 to 20 trillion dollars. Correct me in the comment section. We're only at roughly $2 trillion for Bitcoin. So if you think about it, you're like, okay, how many other people are just not into Bitcoin yet? Now we can take a look at, Elon Musk, I think, has a little bit, but Bezos are not, Gates and Buffett, they are not getting into it. Balance sheet, S&P 500 is worth $36 trillion. US versus China GDP, 17 trillion. Global money supply is, the broad money supply, it used to be 82 trillion. Now it's over $101 trillion. Stock market, 50 trillion. Global debt at 300. And then the big one here, well, one of the biggest, global real estate at $326 trillion. Household wealth, 463 trillion. And then the big ones, derivatives, which could be up to 600 trillion or $1 quadrillion, which is futures, forwards, swaps, all that stuff. And you can see it just keeps going. So when we take a look at it and I say that we front ran people, we did a lot. And we're going to continue to do that because we're early. I know people don't like to say that, but it's true. We're still early. Now, of course, it would have been better to get in Bitcoin at $3, but I guarantee as soon as it went to 10 or 20, you probably would have sold. So what we're talking about today is Coatue, I think I said it, right? Nailed it. Management, $70 billion under management. And they invest in small stuff like Tesla and SpaceX, Microsoft, and so on and so forth. And the founder, the CEO, this is Philippe Lafont. He came on to CNBC and he was talking about how, the Magnificent Seven has changed so much. They are predicting that Apple is going to fall out of that. And they said there's going to be a big shift as to which assets or which companies are going to be in the top S&P 500. But the big takeaway was this 1 minute segment. It's from 3 minutes and 18 to 4:18. I want you to take a listen to this and then think about how many other millionaires and billionaires are out there. And now we've actually front ran a whole host of them. So let me just make sure you can actually hear this perfectly. Again, it's about a minute or so. Just take a listen. Whoop. 3:18. There we are.
Trillion. Yeah, sorry, of course, trillion. Then we added Bitcoin. We thought of Bitcoin as a company. Today, I think Bitcoin is 2 trillion. And we're like, well, could it get to also 4 or 5 trillion? Obviously, Bitcoin's not a company. It'd be like saying if gold's a company, but I thought it was interesting as a new asset.
Right. Market cap.
Market cap, 2 trillion is
when
so
did you
big.
get involved in Bitcoin?
I've not gotten involved with Bitcoin, and I wake up every day at 3 in the morning, and I'm like, why am I such an idiot? What have I been waiting for, not being involved in it? And it just goes up and up. In the past, I think this is interesting, the retail investors, they were much faster at getting involved with Bitcoin than the institutional ones. And I always thought Bitcoin's amazing, but it's double or triple the volatility of the NASDAQ. NASDAQ's already pretty volatile. Why do I need to deal with this added volatility? Recently, Bitcoin, when it went down during the tariff, only went down as much as NASDAQ. So it seems the volatility as an asset class is coming down, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah, so I'll take that. So look, there is positive things on the horizon. You see a lot of people, and of course, when we have this for ETFs gaining, we have sovereign wealth funds and institutions, and of course, don't forget all the different corporations that are putting on the balance sheet. There are positive things happening for Bitcoin. However, does that mean that Bitcoin goes up in a straight line? I think the S&P 500 actually just broke a record today, as a matter of fact. So what the heck is going on? Well, it's because people, for whatever reason, still love to trade Bitcoin. And they still love to do leverage plays, and they still like to screw around, which is fine, because I'm not here for the short term. I'm not here for the month or 6 months or a couple of years. I've been here since 2017. And I really couldn't care much less. But if you're asking, like, well, why the heck aren't things going up in a straight line, Rob? You talk about it so positive. This is part of the reason. Take a look at counterflow. This is bitcoincounterflow.com, liquidation heat maps, and I linked this in the description. I think it really just comes down to this. As you can see, let me take this out to like let's say a week or so. Here's the ranges, and as people get liquidated, you'll see like the ranges of where we're at. 108,600 is part of the top 66 million waiting to get liquidated. And the bottom right around here is 102,000. And you'll notice that as the price goes up and down, this is only, gosh, what is this, 6 days? You can see how the liquidity gets flushed out on both ends. That is the exchanges doing their magic, moving. And I'm not going to say that it's manipulated, because everybody likes to say that, but it's just the nature of the beast. So people are going to still keep playing around. They'll still play on exchanges, and they'll still get wrecked. And the only one that actually is going to win is mostly the exchanges. So this is what we have. Let me know what you think about that in the comments section. Also, some more good news. Federal housing, FHFA, and this was just broke yesterday. And I will tell you, like, people say this is good news. I'm just saying this is confusing news to me. This is what we have. The FHFA, which oversees Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac here in the United States, which do a lot with mortgages here in the US, real estate and whatnot. And they said in this documentation where they're ordering director to consider crypto. First of all, that's the key word. The order is issuing directive to consider crypto as an asset in risk assessments. That doesn't mean like if you got $500,000 in Bitcoin that you're gonna be able to roll up and have a $500,000 house. They're just saying, like, just think about this as people are getting into digital assets and Bitcoin itself. But here's the thing. The question you have to ask is, okay, first of all, there's a couple of things to go over. Let's see. Therefore, prepare a proposal for consideration of crypto as an asset for reserves in the respective single-family mortgage loan risk assessments without conversion of said crypto to US dollars. Each enterprise is directed to consider only crypto assets that can be evidenced and stored on a US regulated centralized exchange. So there's two things here. First of all, if you're doing this, you have to only have this on a centralized exchange. Now, maybe you can move it from your cold storage device, but I'm not going to recommend anybody to take their funds from cold storage device and put it back onto an exchange so it can be considered. The next thing is, besides the fact that we are so volatile, is in Bitcoin, is if you can imagine what your altcoins have done over the last year or two, how are they going to say, okay, we're going to assess it at this date, and your fart coin is worth $10,000, or let's say $250,000. Well, that's what it is today. And then tomorrow, oh, it's worth 25 bucks. Well, you know what I mean. It can go down to 175,000. So if they're going to consider all these things, the question is, because it's so volatile, then how can they actually underwrite this and go through with mortgage? I got to tell you, I think this is actually dangerous, because if you have somebody who has assets only in crypto, digital assets, and you say, okay, we're going to give that to you as a risk assessment. We'd also like to see your cash flow. Obviously, there is not a chance that any mortgage lender is going to give you a mortgage just because you have a boatload of crypto. They're going to say, where is your cash flow coming from? Because it looks like you've never sold Bitcoin. Are you going to sell Bitcoin? Is that what's going to happen here? Could you actually do that? And if you could sell Bitcoin, what is the price you're going to sell it at? Because yesterday it was 108,000, and then a week ago it was $96,000. To me, I think this is a step in the right direction, but it makes absolutely no sense. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section, because that'll be a good one to go over. And then lastly, XRP. So this is good news. Well, excuse me. The good news was this, I should say. March 2025, Ripple agreed to a $50 million fine, and the SEC dropped its appeal. Everybody's very happy. XRP goes up. Great. And this from Eleanor Tourette. She says that Judge Torres has denied Ripple and the SEC government joint motion for an indicative ruling. What the heck is that? So in the US, I'm not a lawyer, in case anybody's asking. I have to look these things up and explain these. In the US, indicative rulings are formalized under Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 62.1, which allows a district court, which is the one that Judge Torres is from, to defer or deny a motion, indicate that it would grant the motion if the case is remanded. This mechanism avoids unnecessary delays in litigation by clarifying the lower court's position. It encourages parties to resolve disputes without further litigation, provides a roadmap, helps appeals. Courts decides whether to remand a case for further consideration. So I don't understand why this is going on. If anybody has legal background, please let me inform me here. She's denied an indicative ruling, yet the ruling was they agreed to a $50 million fine. The SEC dropped its appeal. So I don't know what else they need to do here, but that's just what we have. And that's it for today. So look, if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. Now we'll do a little Q&A and we'll go through all that stuff, but interesting day for sure. All right, what do we have? Let me go all the way back up here. Yeah, Steve-O, S&P 500 broke a record today. How big is it? How great is the S&P 500? Let's take a look. Well, look at that. So over 5 days, 1 month, 6 months, 5 years, we are at the peak. 6,138. Congratulations for all you S&P 500 holders. How boring. Anyhow, that says actually pretty good. Let's see. Hello. Hello. Good afternoon. What is this? Now, last guy says Jupiter, Solana based, surpassed the combined 24-hour trading volume of all other chain aggregators, achieving total dominance despite operating a single chain. Congratulations. Another reason maybe to get into Solana. I mean, some people love it. Some people hate it. I've got a little bag. What are you going to do? Let's see. Rob, can you show social risk sentiment on ETC? I could, perhaps. I can't show you everything. But it doesn't look like that. Let's see. What Ben was talking about is, and we talk about this in when I'll be selling 50 to 80% of my crypto. Links in the description. It's the first crypto critical video that you should be watching. And what it is, that's what I like about Ben's site. You can sign up for it. Links in the description. Some of it's free, some of it's not free. This indicator dashboard makes a lot of sense because it takes an aggregate of the price metrics, total market cap risk, Bitcoin risk, trend lines, fear and greed index. Takes the on-chain metrics, 12 multiple MVRV score, little stuff like that, terminal price, transaction fees, and also the social metrics, which is YouTube subscribers, views, Twitter or X followers, and everything else in between. So looking at this, well, how accurate is this? I mean, indicators are great, but they're not perfect. This one's pretty good. So when was the last time we had like a big blow up? Let's see, 2021, look at that. Price metrics were above 0.6, on-chain was above 0.6, social metrics was around 0.9. So the summary was 0.735. Probably a good idea to take some profits. 2017, same thing, roughly. Actually, even more so. Summary 0.746. In 2013, there was no tracking of social metrics, but here we are. So why was Ben talking about this today in social metrics? It's because it's flat and nobody is watching. Well, I shouldn't say nobody, but it's just not so fantastic, we could say. Actually, let's break into like YouTube views, shall we? YouTube views you see is at 0.00, the flattest you can possibly be. And you can see that over here in 2021, I mean, everybody was cracking off. Look at that. Views, everybody's excited, mostly retail. This is why I wondered to myself, is it, because what we're tracking is retail here. Retail watches YouTube videos. Retail watches and interacts on X. Institutions don't watch YouTube videos for the most part. Sovereign wealth funds don't watch YouTube videos or interact with people on, say, TikTok or Twitter. They just don't. However, for right now, I mean, this is a good indicator for retail, that's for sure. And there's some that will, obviously, right? I mean, Michael Saylor's out there always interacting, but he's just one person. People that own MicroStrategy, well, maybe they're a bunch of Bitcoin. But you can just see over here that everybody's views and subscribers are in the toilet. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's YouTube views. And to see the rest, sign up for Ben's site. Check it out. Pretty great stuff. Let's see. I keep hearing Binance is manipulating price. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's funny because like when Tom Crown said this is pretty funny. He said when the market shifts downward, everybody says manipulation. But when the market shifts up, shifts up, no one's saying, wow, it's manipulated to the upside. Nobody cares. So yeah, it could be. Who knows? Dude, Day says it's a trap. Shame. Definitely. Hello. Let's see. XRP equals boop. I don't think it's that bad. Still in the top 10, I'm just saying. Could go to $589. I'm just kidding. That's an XRP thing. That's not happening anytime soon, I'll tell you that. Solana is the best for retail. I mean, it is fast. It is super cheap. People say, but it's not decentralized, Rob. Who cares? I think, is anybody complaining about BNB or Binance Coin? That's like one computer under CZ Binance's bed. And then, of course, like, you know, what about Base from Coinbase? Again, it's under Brian Armstrong's like spare room. That's the whole decentralization of it. Come on. Obviously, it's better to be decentralized, right? No single points of failure. Governments can't come in and control things. It's pretty great. Although, take a look at like, you know, Tether and USD, some other chains, they're not really that decentralized, that's for sure. Dog is on Kraken tomorrow. Yeah, Dog is on Kraken. I know that like people, like, look, this is a meme coin. It is a meme coin. It's a rune on Bitcoin. Let's see. But people will say, Rob, how dare you talk about a meme coin? I'm like, what's the point? Do I own some? Sure. Now, where is it? And as we talked about it yesterday, it's up 18%. So you're welcome. Yeah. Anyhow, let's see how it does. It's going to be listed on Kraken. So again, I'm not your dad, everybody. So if you want to like trade that, have fun. It's going to be listed tomorrow. Probably do great for a bit, may go to zero, or it may keep going to oblivion. I don't know. I am not here to give financial advice. Oh, speaking of which, NFA Live, shoot, had a good session with the guys of Ben, you know, the CRYPTOVERSE and Guy, Coin Bureau. So check that out over on Ben's channel. Pretty interesting stuff today. Yeah. What Rob is saying is smart money doesn't watch Dan. Exactly. Smart money, and I don't even know if it's smart money. I think it's just big money. There's like, we don't care about that. We're just here to make a bunch of money, and we have our own ways of doing our research. Yeah. Jack says, Rob, the crypto market's being manipulated using derivatives like Bybit and the like. The whales are loving this volatility. I'm sure they are. And we as the plebs like it when the price goes up. Let's see. Watching if after this. Is size still growing? Probably so. Oh, it could do pretty well. I think that's it, everybody. So look, I think I answered all the questions. That's it for today. Like today's video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. Everybody talk about is time sensitive. That's it for this one, everybody. Go check NFA Live out on Ben's channel. Thanks so much for stopping by. Appreciate you. And I'll see you on the next one. Adios.